In Andrew's room, the children's Bible on his bed pulsed with a soft, golden light. Lulu, the dog, barked anxiously, sensing something was wrong. Conrad, Andrew's older brother, stood frozen in the doorway, his eyes wide. "Andrew, Andrew, please answer me." His mother, Clara, cried out as she rushed into the room. She was followed closely by her husband, Cornelius, and their other children, Andeline and little Johanna. The glow from the book intensified, filling the small bedroom with a low, gentle hum. "Everyone stay together," Cornelius said, his voice steady and protective, pulling his family close. The light grew, swelling to fill every corner of the room. It wasn't a harsh or violent light, but something warm and inviting. "Mum," Andeline whispered, her voice filled with awe, "it feels warm." Little Johanna, clutching her mother's nightgown, added softly, like a hug. The golden light enveloped them completely, and for a moment everything went white. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the light receded. The family found themselves standing together in a field of tall, glowing grass. Before them, smiling and safe, was Andrew. "Mon Dad!" He shouted with joyful relief, running toward them. Clara dropped to her knees, pulling him into a tight embrace, tears streaming down her face. "Oh, thank God, you're real. You're real," she sobbed, holding him close. As if in response to her relief, the light of this new world seemed to brighten, bathing them in its warmth. A voice ancient and kind echoed through the air itself. "You have arrived," it said, and the grass swayed outward in a gentle wave of greeting. Clara slowly got to her feet, her arm still wrapped around Andrew, and looked around in wonder. The air was pure and smelled of things she couldn't quite name, like rain on dry earth, blooming flowers, and something that felt like a long-forgotten childhood memory. "This place," she whispered, overwhelmed with emotion. "It feels like it knows me." A soft breeze wrapped around her, caressing her skin like a gentle hand. The voice spoke again, this time with a personal tenderness. "Clara." She froze, her heart catching in her throat. "My name," she trembled. The light before her warmed and shimmered, briefly forming the silhouette of a man. It was the shape of her father kind, familiar, just as she remembered him. "Dad," she gasped, her eyes filling with fresh tears. The figure smiled gently, a silent gesture of love, before fading back into the light. "Love never leaves you," the voice of Eden explained softly. "It only changes form." Clara sobbed quietly, not from sorrow, but from a profound sense of comfort and peace that settled deep within her soul. Cornelius stood firm, his protective instincts on high alert as he surveyed their surroundings. He held his family close, his mind racing to understand what was happening. "If this place brought my family here," he said with quiet strength, his voice resolute, "then I'll trust it." As he spoke, he unconsciously touched his jaw, a habit born from years of discomfort. He paused, a look of confusion crossing his face. He ran his tongue along his teeth, his eyes widening in disbelief. Years ago, a brutal accident had cost him several teeth, a loss he had learned to live with. But now, "My teeth," he murmured, astonished. "They're all back." The gentle hum of Eden deepened, as if in approval. "What was taken from you without mercy," the voice declared, "I restore without cost." Cornelius bowed his head slightly, humbled by a grace he had never expected. He felt a weight lift from him, one he hadn't even realized he was still carrying. Meanwhile, the children were having their own encounters with this wondrous place. Conrad, ever the protector, scanned the horizon, his gaze alert and watchful. "This place feels strong," he observed, noticing how the very ground beneath his feet seemed to firm up, solid and dependable. "You protect without being asked," Eden's voice affirmed, and Conrad straightened his shoulders, feeling a sense of pride and purpose settle over him. Andeline, who had always seen the world through the lenses of her glasses, adjusted them out of habit, then paused. A look of wonder spread across her face. "Mom, I can see," she whispered. She carefully removed her glasses, her vision clear and perfect for the first time in her life. "You seek clarity," the voice said. "Now you have it." She let the glasses fall from her hand. Before they even touched the ground, they dissolved into motes of pure light and vanished. Little Johanna, too young for fear or doubt, simply twirled in a happy circle, her pink pajamas a bright splash of color against the glowing grass. "It's shiny." She giggled. With every step she took, vibrant flowers bloomed in her footsteps, dotting the ground with bursts of color. "You carry joy untouched," Eden's voice said, and Johanna's delighted laughter echoed through the garden. The family stood together, finally reunited and whole. As they looked around, they noticed animals gathering quietly nearby, a lion resting peacefully beside a deer, birds of every color flitting through the air, and even a serpent, observing them with curious eyes from a nearby branch. Andrew smiled, his face beaming. "I told you Eden was nice." Clara let out a soft laugh, her eyes still shining with tears. "But you didn't tell us it was alive." In the distance, a magnificent tree glowed with a faint internal light, drawing their gaze. "This is not the end of your journey." The voice of Eden resonated around them, the light of the garden pulsing in time with the words. "It is the remembering of who you are." Instinctively, the family held hands, a complete circle in the heart of paradise. The serpent on the branch watched them, its gaze shifting to the glowing tree in the distance. "The fruit will come later," it whispered softly to itself. Andrew's eyes also turned toward the distant glow, his expression one of pure curiosity, not temptation. "We'll be ready," he said with a certainty beyond his years, and the Garden of Eden hummed with a hopeful light. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see what happens next in the garden.